9 experienced hikers went into the Ural Mountains in 1959. Only their bodies came back, and half of them had cut their way out of their own tent in the middle of the night in negative 30 degrees, some without their shoes on. And before you ask, no, it wasn't a bear, it wasn't aliens. Well, probably wasn't aliens. Meet Igor Dyatlov, 23 years old, engineering student, and the guy leading this trip. 10 hikers total, most from the Ural Polytechnic Institute, all experienced in serious backcountry skiing. This wasn't a casual weekend hike. These were skilled people. Late January 1959. The plan was a grueling 200-mile ski trek through the northern Urals, the kind of trip that earns you a top hiking certification back in the Soviet Union. Basically, extreme credit building for hikers. One member turned back early due to illness, which in hindsight is the luckiest cult in recorded history. The remaining 9 pressed on toward a mountain called kholat syakhl.
In the local Mansi language, kholat syakhl translates to dead mountain, which, sure, could just be a coincidence. Mountains get weird names all the time. On February 1st, the group pitched their tent on the open slope of the mountain instead of retreating to the shelter of the tree line below. A small decision. Nobody thought much of it at the time. That night, they ate, they joked, they settled in for the cold. It was the last full night any of them would ever spend together. Something happened. We don't know exactly what, but the tent was cut open from the inside, and 9 people ran out into a blizzard in temperatures around negative 30, some in just their socks. Not toward safety, not toward the tree line for warmth. They ran downhill, into the open, away from their only shelter. People do not walk away from warm sleeping bags in a Siberian winter unless something has genuinely terrified them. When the group missed their check-in date, search parties were sent out, because nothing says reassuring 1959 Soviet bureaucracy quite like waiting several weeks before anyone officially panics. Searchers found the tent first, collapsed, half-buried, and cut open from within. Everyone's boots and warm clothes were still inside. Whatever made them leave, it wasn't something they stopped to dress for. The first 2 bodies were found near a cedar tree, half a mile from the tent, barefoot, in the snow. Branches up high were broken, like someone had climbed up to look for something, or to get away from something.
More bodies turned up scattered down the slope. Some seemed to be positioned as if shielding others from something. It reads less like a chaotic scramble and more like people trying to protect each other. When the last 4 bodies were found months later, buried under snow in a ravine, the injuries got stranger. Crushed ribs, a fractured skull, but almost no external bruising. The kind of internal damage you'd expect from a car crash. Not a fall, not a fight. Oh, and one of them was missing her tongue, and some of the clothing tested positive for radioactive contamination. Cool. Normal. Nothing to see here. The official Soviet investigation closed the case, citing an unknown compelling force, which is a genuinely wild sentence to put in an official government document. The full files stayed classified for over 30 years. Theories piled up fast: a secret military weapons test, infrasound from the wind driving them into panic, a rare delayed slab avalanche. Also, inevitably, aliens, because the internet cannot resist a good mystery without adding a UFO.
A 2021 study using avalanche physics and Disney's own animation software of all things modeled a small delayed slab release that could explain the injuries without any bodies being buried. It's currently the leading scientific explanation, though it doesn't answer everything. Even with the leading theory, some details still don't fully add up. The missing tongue, the radiation, exactly why they cut the tent instead of just unzipping it. Mysteries rarely close as neatly as we want them to. It's easy to get lost in the puzzle and forget these were real people, students in their early 20s with families, plans, and a mountain trip they never should have had to die on. 60 plus years later, the Dyatlov Pass Incident sits in that rare space between science and mystery, mostly explained, never fully closed. And maybe that's exactly why it still gets to us. So, which theory do you believe? Drop it in the comments. Just maybe don't camp on Dead Mountain to test it yourself.